Okay, let's go then.
Okay, the Ghanaian point, talking about the obvious story. Helicopter crash, Ghana lays Alhaji Muniru and Murtala to rest. Then there's the talk about victims. Let's honor victims by let's honor helicopter crash victims by building the Ghana they envisioned. That's according to President John Dramani Mahama. Then the former Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has also been speaking about it. He says this is not politics; it's a national tragedy. That's how he's describing this. And punctuality was Murtala's trademark. That's according to the ministry. And family was everything to him. Omani Bwama was humanity personified. That's according to Communications Minister Sam George.
If you go to the Ghanaian Times, nation in pensive mood as thousands grieve victims of helicopter crash. Sierra Leonean president touches down to commiserate with Ghana. Murtala Mohammed Muniru Limuna laid to rest at military cemetery in Accra. And if you go to page 11 of the Ghanaian Times, extend maternal leave to 6 months to promote exclusive breastfeeding. This is the Ghana Health Service DG. I am 100% with this. I believe that maternal leave should be extended to 6 months. And in some instances, if the businesses can make it happen, you can even let the nursing mothers work remotely for another 6 months and return to work after a year, so that the children will have a full year's support by the mother to help them develop properly. Children are a national resource, really.
Yeah.
And so we need to have policies and strategies to enable us, give them the right foundational support before we throw them into this risky space called Ghana.
I agree. 6 months, we could probably do another 6 months while we talk about that, and children being a national resource. And it's always important to have children growing with their fathers and mothers together. So we advocate
for paternity leave.
Paternity leave. That 5 days thing they've been doing is not fair.
We should extend it to 2 months.
Yes, 2 months.
With an option to extend by another month to work remotely.
Yeah, because you see, you must learn how to grow with your child. Learn how to stay with your child as your child grows.
Or new fathers can work maybe half a day. So you come to work in the morning, you close midday, go and support your wife and your child.
So it is, this 5 days paternity leave.
So that grandmothers and grandfathers can rest and enjoy their pension.
But these days, do we still take them to grandmothers, grandfathers?
Sometimes. Those who are lucky enough to have active grandmothers and grandfathers. Yeah.
Okay. I see. I'm not sure that if I get into my old age, you bring your child to me. Anyway.
Okay, let's do the Business and Financial Times. Economic recovery holds, but risk linger without deeper reform. Sort of an analysis on how the rebound has been faring so far in terms of government policies. Details of that, page 3 of the Business and Financial Times. Government sound policies and action to propel private sector growth. That's according to the Chief of Staff, Julius Debra, who's been speaking out on that. And credit checks double on digital lending boom. And IEAG calls for overhaul of port operations, and they are also calling for a unified forex rate because they believe it's part of the solutions that we need. So these are some of the stories we have
the back page
on the front page of the Business and Financial Times. Yes, let's see at the back page. Some good news here. Petra Abbas Samoa appointed board chairperson of the Ghana Post Company. Ghana Post has a new board chair.
Petra Abasamon. She used to be my boss at 3FM. She was a station manager. She didn't like the title station manager, so but I preferred to call her station manager. I said no, she should be head of station, station manager.
Yeah. From Delta Airlines to
3FM, she became general manager.
Was it Akosombo Textiles?
Yeah, Akosombo Textiles. So
and then
Oduman Security. Yes.
Very high expectations from the board because if you look at the story of Ghana Post, it's not been too good over the years, so we hope that something will change.
Something has to change. Something has to change. Ghana Post, Obo tried with the delivery system, but that's something that Ghana Post should move beyond.
Just
me post letter. They can do more. So I know that Petra would lead that change.
In this digital retail space, I think Ghana Post is one of the key anchors for growth. If we can move goods, if we can move people's orders, cheap, reliable, safe way, we can transform the economy. Those of us in trade, it's difficult to move things.
I tell you.
It's very difficult. So if we have an institution with, and you see, they have post offices scattered all across the country, right? Maybe they may have to invest in a little bit more infrastructure within the post offices so that Ghana Post actually can be one of our key distribution businesses to support SMEs. So we wish Petra all the best. Expectations are high. They should do better with Ghana Post. Now, if you go to Republic Press, Ghana bows in grief as Murtala Mohammed Limuna Mohammed laid to rest. Ghana Armed Forces helicopter crash. DNA results of remaining 6 victims arrive. 2 police officers remanded over missing assault rifles. And there's a sad story of a man in the eastern region who committed suicide by jumping into the Volta Lake. Engineer Ken Ashibe says, blood of crash victims on your hands. Ken Ashibe to Galamsey politicians. And Omane Boama was potential president. This is Uncle Ebo White. If you go into the inner pages, energy analysts propose sector efficiency as global oil companies reel under operational losses. We've seen some losses locally as well. Cocoa processing company, cocoa processors losses deepen to $10.2 million. Winston, CPC, they are still losing money.
Yeah.
And Phage and Guzakuza signed strategic MOU to launch Wise Exports. They are supporting women in business in Ghana to export to the world. It's a $15 million women-led export drive.
The Ghanaian publisher is simply re-echoing the Nation in Grief story, but talks about what happened during the Greater Works conference where ICGC Pastor Mensa Otabo has been offering some heartfelt prayer for victims. Then there's the talk about honoring the memories of the victims. That's according to the president. And there's also the talk about the involvement of the former vice president, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, when, of course, he paid a courtesy call on the president, commiserated with the family of the victims. That act is being described on the front page of the Ghanaian publisher now, that Bawumia's act mirrors the late Atta Mills and his peaceful style.
Well, nobody can take away Bawumia's peaceful style from him. That's something you cannot take away from him. And I think that it was a good thing he did. Beyond going to the ceremonial gardens, decided to now go to visit President Mahama. And look, I always say this. As a country, Ghana, we're very privileged that our politics is one of, unity. Sometimes, most of the time, one of unity. Sometimes we get into all the fights here and there, but and the fights are normally the followers. The leaders themselves would do all of these things, and this should be a sign to the followers. Don't go and fight, because the people you are fighting for, this is how they relate. And
they are good friends.
So it's good that Dr. Bawumia went to see President Mahama. It actually showed that we are all in this as a nation, and so that's what I see.
Now, if you go to the Economic Times, financial markets remain stable despite Ghana's national tragedy. You go hard. We said despite.
Despite is somebody's name.
Yes. Now, GRA NIA standoff over debt claims. Maritime stakeholders fears severe impact on cargo clearance. And BOG records 50% dip in remittances as CD appreciates. If you go to page 5 of the Economic Times, Tullow Oil posts $61 million loss in the first half of 2025 amid lower prices and outputs. Those are the newspaper headlines.
Now, I'm just told that paternity leave at StanChart is 20 weeks.
I see.
5 months, same as maternity leave.
Oh, then they should have the extra month for it to be 6 months.
Yes, I mean, so they can actually do that. And
good news,
other companies should learn from them.
Yes.
So that we'll start producing it.
In fact, the state must take the lead.
Must take a cue.
The private sector will follow.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, I support that. It was one of the things the NDC promised.
Yeah.
And so that's something, yes, so paternity leave, 20 weeks, that's great.
My family has gone through 2 children without any grandparent support. Just my wife doing all the work, and I see the toll it takes on them, right? And so sometimes a lot of the women try to reserve their regular leaves and add it to their maternity leave to have, say, 4 months. But really, if we think that humans are the building blocks of our society, then we must put in place strategies to make that process that brings them out into the world a process which is safe, which gives a little bit more help and comfort to the woman going through the sleepless nights and all those things. And you must actually decide as a nation to invest in that, both in the public sector and private sector. Sometimes when you say these things, people will say, so we'll go on leave for 6 months. Who will do their work? Every business must understand that it's part, because if you're an SMCG, for example, you need the consumers, so somebody must produce them. So you also need to plan your business such that you will make time for people to have children, take care of them, give them the basic support for them to grow, build their strength before they move on. And usually, because of the way our urban system is organized, in 6 months, the woman is going to work, the man is also going to work, so the child has to go to crèche or daycare. And because of the traffic, 6 a.m., 5 a.m., you see families in traffic, children sleeping in the back seats. We cannot afford to take our future generation through this unnecessary stress.
Yeah, I mean, I can relate. I sent my child to school when he was only 4 months.
Yes.
That's what you have to do under the circumstances.
COVID came and there was no opportunity, so they had to just stay behind screens.
Yes.
And then they start speaking like cartoons. Because as a people, to our cultural policy and our investment in content that we can use to train our kids, we don't have. So we have to resort to Peppa Pig and all these things and Baby Shark. Charlie, we must do
Paw
better.
Patrol and all of that.
We must do better.
We must do better. So our content creators should do better. Let's see what's online.
Yes, if you go to my Joe online, Mahama must kill Galamsey before he kills his members. This is Dr. Tony Edu warning. 15 horrific crashes that broke the hearts of Ghanaians. David Apinga has done a good job to give us he's chronicled crashes, aircraft crashes in this country, the circumstances, the number of people we lost, and you may want to check that out. And it should also drive policy and the way we do things in this country. So that is on my Joe online. The Ghana Armed Forces crash. The health minister has received the DNA results of the remaining 6 victims. And God does not take innocent lives. This is Tony Edu, and he's demanding action after the crash. President Mahama says forensic findings on the helicopter crash victims have been received. That enabled us to send our brothers Mutala and Limuna home yesterday. There was a story online about Kempon involved in a fatal crash.
Yeah.
That was how the story was put online. He says he's doing very well after the accident.
You know the thing about fatal?
Yes.
When you say fatal,
It means people have died.
it means people have died. So sometimes we are tempted to use these words, but it's important we understand. And so, beg your pardon, it's actually one of the questions in our com skills class, ambiguity those days. Maybe near fatal, but if you say fatal, it means. And so I called him. When I called him and his phone rang, I was happy. And I spoke to him. He said, "Oh, yeah, he's okay. He's in the hospital. He's been just he's doing well. He's recovering." So please, sometimes the use of fatal, no. When there's death, yes. But without death, you can't call it fatal.
More stories. Driver jailed for stealing Susu box containing over 20,000 Ghana cedis. It's also on my Joe online. And if you go to citynewsroom.com, GPCC, no official communication yet on National Prophecies Directive. This is the Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Council. They are saying that they've not received any formal communication from the Office of the Presidential Envoy for Interfaith and
Ecumenical relations. Ecumenical.
So hold on, Winston.
Yes.
He released a statement, right? That prophecies must be communicated ahead of time. Okay. And GPCC says they've not received any official. But can we deem the statement sent because it's public and we've all read it?
Well, maybe they want to have official communication from the Interfaith and Ecumenical Relations Envoy of President John Dramani Mahama.
What a title.
I like the ecumenical relations, but this is it. Well, I think I've made my point known already. I sincerely do not think that at this point that is what we should be interested in, if you ask me. No. I do not think somebody at the presidency who should be sending this directive for people to send what prophecies to you.
Yeah, but in a country which is very religious, sometimes we need to make interventions in this space. People make all sorts of prophecies. Remember Dampare's time, he warned some of the pastors not to make any prophecies on 31st night. You remember? And so we also need to think about and also analyze how we sometimes use religion not in the right way. Sometimes some religious leaders abuse the faith in their own interest, and so some of these things.
Look, Kojo, I like Professor Abuajijedu, who's the presiding bishop of the Methodist Conference, or Methodist Church.
Yeah.
Now, one day we spoke to him right here on the Super Morning Show. There was something he said. He said, the Lord who gives you the prophecy would give you the wisdom to go about it. Now, if you are giving a prophecy about me, Winston Amwal, that you probably do not know, and you say, oh, Winston Amwal should do this. But if you know, Kujwa Kotobuating, and then there's a prophecy about him, and then you sit on, you go to church and say it, sometimes you actually even have access to the man. What prevents you from going straight to him?
Sometimes you don't have access. That's why I have to communicate it to Elvis Efria and Crack.
No.
Provide the access.
No. If you look, I say, God will give you the wisdom to go about it. I have seen people who would actually send messages to you, and they will tell you, you plan on going to this place, don't go. Somebody close to you will tell you, this is what I've heard, this is what was said to me. I am saying that, look, sometimes this is, because why wait till 31st of December and chronicle all those who are going to die the following year? Why?
Anyway.
And why is it that most of our prophecies are about death? Anyway.
And not about somebody getting money.
Why?
Anyway. Other stories. Shamima says we should show love. Tomorrow is not promised. This is in reaction to the crash. Amin Adam is calling for a parliamentary probe into the crash. So these are some of the stories in the newspapers and online.
There's something I saw on myjoyonline.com. You know, the fact that Death and the King's Horseman, George Quay's play, which would be staged this August. The fact that he brought in the international choreographer. I don't know whether you know this person, dance artist Mariana Minasova, to actually come and train the people.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's how dedicated he is.
He is to this. Yeah. So if you don't have your ticket yet, Charlie, you have to get it. Because I told you I'll be giving the introduction.
As for that one, it's reserved for you.
Welcome address.
Yeah.
Because George Quay refused to let me be Elation Oba. He says, I won't have time to act. Which
it's
is true.
as though you're playing Justify. and
Justify my inclusion.
Kofi and Blazer, there is another story here on page 11. I want to highlight it because it will become a problem in 6 months if we don't highlight and push. Newly qualified doctors, dentists undergo common licensing exams in October. This is according to the minister.
Okay.
I'm reading this because when these young men and ladies finish their education, sometimes it's difficult for them to get posting. Pharmacists have still not been employed properly.